3v3 where surely Renegades will be most confident. I feel like in a series like this where they've already lost it, they'll know that they'll be slightly weaker in the 2s and 1s. They have to get themselves off with a victory right here. If they are to guarantee themselves $50,000, already $25,000 guaranteed for both these two teams. But Renegades have to start well, surely.
Yeah, Renegades got the game 1 win in the previous matchup these two teams played. Renegades took the 3v3. That's a fantastic play in the back corner by Fever, putting together a wall dash and an outplay at the same time. O1 Esports, they are just the benchmark team for the Middle Eastern region, as Fever just slots in an opening goal quite easily. In fact, I thought there would be a third man back for that one after seeing how simple the shot looked, but Am's unable to get in between the ball and the goal. There's no one in the net either.
Fever, who is one of the standout players in OCE right now, you know, been wanting to get involved in these lands for such a long time during the RLCSX season, his breakout one. So good to see him getting involved straight away. And considering the last time O1 Esports opened up a series against All Mid, it was an 0-1 loss. That didn't even mean that pun, I swear. It was a 0-1 loss to All Mid in overtime. Maybe that's a really good start for Renegades.
Have to go and run back. We'll have to look, see if we can find out. Did they go down 1-0 in every single opening game? They may have done, because they've lost every single opening game that they've played in this tournament, every threes. But Ams has really caught Cammy off guard with that pre-flip shot. Looks like Cammy is covered in the infield pass, but Ams managed to get under the ball, across it, and sneaks it in the near post instead.
A slight mistake there from CJ. Sorry, excuse me. A slight mistake there from CJ in the corner, and Ams just completely punishes him straight away. They have the mechanics to be able to make the most of any situation like that. So Renegades, for all their love of missing the ball and whiffing it and making the most from it, gonna have to make some clean connections. Quite there, could be another chance. Zazonix against CJ. That one maybe is falling to Kami, but it is doinked away. And now Kami has to get a defensive touch instead.
Oh, this is a great chance, but just out of reach for CJ. He's spiraling in for the redirect. Talked previously about the potential rematch of Gladiators Renegades at Worlds Wildcard. Well, they're currently looking at another potential Worlds Wildcard matchup. O1 Esports sneaking in as the third Middle Eastern team at the Worlds event, with Falcons going straight into the main event. Veloce and O1 representing MENA at the Wildcard. This is such great experience for them to face off against another team who have had multiple international lands throughout the season. Love that from Austin, just parking in front of his opponent, really hindering the recovery. There
was a beautiful tweet from O1's coach who said that Falcons had promised them they would unlock that third world spot.
They said pack your bags.
Eastern region. Yeah, exactly.
But when they went to the line, they said pack your bags. We're taking you to Texas with us.
And they were right. And not just to Texas, now on home soil, they'll be playing in front of that home crowd. Absolutely loving them, but they do have more defending to do now. Lovely play from Fever again, who, despite not playing in the 2v2 just now against Gaming Gladiators, is starting pretty hot in this 3v3.
O1, like I said, are just that, they're the benchmark team for Middle East. They've not had the best end to their season, finishing off the spring split 6th place in Middle East. So many teams rising to the occasion. That was almost a great pass there, not read well by Renegades on the follow-up. O1 have been so consistent throughout the year. That's why they're going to the World's Wildcard event. You know, 6th place spring, they led, before that they finished off 2nd place in fall split. I believe it was 3rd or 4th in the winter. So they've been consistent enough. That's what the RLCS format rewards throughout the year. But it's really showing the talent MENA's got, that the number 6 team from spring is taking it to Renegades for the 2nd time.
That's a good punt forward there from Kami to get Renegades back on the attack after doing some good defending. CJ had a tough question asked of him by Mossan with the air dribble. He was able to answer it pretty well, and now Renegades can come forward again. Fever, who's getting all sorts of involved in the early stages of this series. For once, one of these Renegades long, lofting, angled passes doesn't really go anywhere. CJ does manage to get it again. Zazonix not do too much with that one. Fever's coming forward. Renegades just venturing into the O1 Esports half. Of course, they have to be wary of the mechanics from O1 Esports, and they also have to be wary of poor touches like that, which can be punished, and misses. CJ was waiting for it.
It's been a solid comeback from O1 to bring back game 1. They're trying to do something they haven't done yet this tournament. That's take a first game in a series. For once, see what their opponents choose in terms of game modes against them. Renegades looking to bait them into the back corner. Boost is looking good for Renegades. The counter attack, absolutely a threat. CJ jumps on top of a loose clear, but that's a much better one from Sonics now as he teams up with Mawson to clear the ball long. It's end-to-end stuff here. Neither team being too cheeky, but Mawson actually off the ball there, getting involved in the bump.
Despite losing the opening game against Renegades last time, they did win the second 3v3, so it's not a 3v3 issue per se. It's just starting these series slowly, but they have done a little bit better this time.
Yeah, same thing versus all mid.
Yeah, so I got a couple of them. Fever's going to go underneath this one, wants to flick it on, but not quite able to. Mosan slows things down. He's got boost as well. Can he get it over the top with the Renegades defense? No, more good defending from Carmen, but it does fall to Sazonix. Fever is not quite going to get there in time, and Ams, he certainly will.
Confident finish from Ams. Kami expecting a 50, gets beaten to it. Sazonix jumps to send the ball into the backboard, and Fever gets dusted on the rebound. That's Renegades' talisman. Just not getting goal side quickly enough. They've got 18 seconds left in the game, and they currently trail.
It's a tough situation for Renegades. You'd expect they'd have to win this first game to really have a strong chance in this series, and they can see it getting away from them already. It's a very, very tough format if you lose this first game. CJ knocks it down, but it's only as far as Mosan. Can he finish it here? Yes, he can. The simplest double touch of his career, but it's all they need to secure this first game.
0-1 Esports, just a more consistent team here, just dissecting Renegades in the closing stages of the game as Renegades panicked on a couple of defensive plays. Now, the really bad news for Renegades as they lose game one is that I think they're actually the underdogs in both of the other matchups. We saw wins for 0-1 Esports in 1v1 and 2v2 earlier on today against All Mid. We saw wins in both of those matchups versus Renegades yesterday. One of them's coming up, and I don't know what the pick is, to be honest. I mean, Fever gave it a good go against AMS yesterday, but he didn't have the best run at it against OSM earlier on, so he probably isn't feeling too confident about the 1v1, but when it came to 2v2, 0-1 Esports actually won that one pretty comfortably, 5-1 against Renegades yesterday, so there isn't really a clear pick here. Renegades are in a massive pickle here, but does Fever have the confidence? That's pretty much all it is. Renegades are just going to be asking Fever right now, do you want to go for the 1v1 now? Well, it's coming up later if we're going to win the series. You're doing it at some point. When do you want to give this a go?
I mean, there's also the question of, do you want to go for the 2v2? Because earlier on, Fever was not involved for Renegades. It was Kami and CJ, which was a decision that had me scratching my head. But what did I know? Because they ended up winning that one quite well against Gladiators. But surely Fever, he is their most mechanical player. He is their best player, the one that, at least in his own region, the players against him fear the most. So you'd expect that he would be needed to step up here if they are to turn their tide of 2v2.
Well, you know, that did look like game face from Kami, so smelling a 2v2 coming here, as saw a couple of very serious looking postures on the 0-1 Esports side of the stage as well. We're about to find out what Renegades have chosen. They lost 5-1 in the 2v2 matchup yesterday, but you know, that was definitely 0-1 running up the score as Renegades took risks, and Renegades are going to give it another go. Fever waiting with the 1v1 till later, and what a start! A kickoff goal for Renegades. Close sheet, works out wonderfully.
Yeah, it's Kami and CJ again. They've been trusted. They've got the sticks between their hands, and CJ with the perfect kickoff. Kami was there. Mosan nowhere near that ball. The perfect start for Renegades to turn this one around, because, as you mentioned, Johnny, it was a pretty comfortable win in the 2v2 yesterday against Fever and CJ. It was 5-1, so maybe that's why. Maybe Fever feels like his playstyle isn't particularly effective against the 0-1 Esports boys, or maybe just a loss of confidence, but you know, you have to go against it, and that is a shame.
Wow.
It's sneaking in past Kami, and it's 1-1.
Sazonix and Mawson teaming up for a brilliant rebound here. Bouncing back from an early kickoff goal, but it's all about placement there, 20 kilometers per hour. One of the slowest shots you're going to see from a clean hit. I mean, sometimes we see shots like that speed off 50-50s, but Sazonix knew it was all about placement there, with the second man being demoed.
Kami's going to want to slow this one down, but he's intercepted there. Mosan is the recipient. A huge booming clear, but it's an accurate one to Sazonix. CJ in that corner is going to want to try and close things down as much as possible, but Kami is left a little bit isolated right there. CJ definitely committed, but it wasn't too bad for now. He might be able to get this one. Let's just keep a close eye on Sazonix. That one goes high. Renegade certainly not looking overawed so far. Perhaps Kami and CJ is a better choice than poor old Fever. Sazonix challenges into that one, and Renegades, they're having a lot of ball control, but not really making 0-1 Esports sweat too much just yet. Lots of central play.
Yeah, this is a game that 0-1 Esports want to be playing. They want to really make this into a challenge game, into a ground game. They want as many 50-50s as possible. That's something they've dominated. The Middle Eastern region has really become known for. But that's an open net. What an outplay by Renegades. And the follow-up from Kami is good.
It was CJ who was up so early and then gets this challenge. He stayed up, actually, got the second touch. The Zonics did not read it, did not back the old boy to have the mechanics to get that one forward. And then after that point, Kami had the easiest job in the world to slot it home.
Yeah, phenomenal recovery by CJ. The Zonics thought it was a free ball, but he thought wrong. Mawson looking to just block CJ here, who has the boost advantage. I mean, that's a really nice play by Mawson, just to give Zonics the possession. Now he's in a 1v1. Kami with the save to the top corner. All that comes from Mawson, just staying active in the play with no boost, manipulating the exchange towards his teammate.
Early shot as well from Zonics. Another one seems to be going for those quite a lot, trying to take Renegades unawares. So far it's not happening, and Kami is stepping up to him, not showing their, you know, more fabled 2v2 opponents too much respect. CJ, another good clearance, almost bounces over the top of O1 Esports again, playing very far forward. And these challengers can bounce over their heads, but there's always chaos in the air when CJ's around. That one goes above his own goal, and thankfully for Renegades, shouldn't lead to too much danger unless O1 Esports can force it.
Yeah, CJ probably yelled back past there, so it was fine. Still counts. His defense has been unbelievable so far in these 2v2s today. He's completely nullifying Gladiators in the earlier round, and now doing the same thing to O1 Esports. This is a team they were crushed by. Huge read by Kami. Oh. He dunks in the finish as well. 3-1 Renegades. They are clinical in this 2v2 matchup.
I must say, I did not see this coming at all, but the mechanics for Renegades surprising O1 Esports time and time again, and that was just clean as you like from Kami. He did all the hard work of getting the read, going up early, and getting that first touch. After that point, the finishing touch was pretty much a gimme, but he'd earned that right. So Zonics can also earn the right to get their team back in the game, but still unable to do so as half the game has gone already. O1 Esports find themselves a couple down. Can Renegades keep defending? You feel that O1 Esports will put more pressure on. Kami with more brilliant defending. And somehow Renegades, something else they're doing really well. They're keeping a lot of boost. They're not looking starved by O1.
Yeah, they did this against Gladiators. They just defended and defended and defended, waited for opportunities, waited for the overextensions. But with O1, it's not really been about capitalizing on O1 overextending. It's been about intercepting at key moments and quickly counter-attacking with precision. Less than 2 minutes to go. It's going to be a fourth, surely, but no way. It's an open net miss by a mile from CJ.
Yeah.
It's good to get out of your system in a game you're already winning, but that should have been 4-1.
I think he had more time than he realized as well. Thought he had to go for that one as quickly as he could, but actually, there's a bit of a mix-up from the O1 Esports players, and CJ could have done something with it. He's also a little bit boost-starved here. I think he's grateful to see that ball land rather than have it being aerialed away above his head. And in front of him, he's still searching for some boost, so Renegade's struggling right now. Kami's pretty much all alone. CJ will get that 100. O1 Esports still have that ball buried, camped deep in Renegade's territory, but maybe another runaway chance here. CJ, his shot is just high and wide, but just another example of how Renegades are winning this.
And they're just buying time here. CJ focusing on the recovery, staying active, but that's a great counter. Well defended by Kami. Final minute is approaching. 0-1. About to suffer a loss in a game mode they dominated in the previous matchup between these two teams.
Kami just wants to boom this one away. If he gets a good clearance, it will waste more time and maybe let Renegades in as well. No one have a good boost right now, though. And they still got time. 50 seconds, 2 goals. These 2-goal swings can happen so quickly in this game mode. So Zonics is met by Kami again. His decision-making has been flawless, only going in when the time is right. I mean, you say they want the 50-50 game, Johnny, but Kami is making it so that Renegades are not losing in that regard.
He's definitely left alone here as Zonics looking for the air dribble bump. Kami's got it covered. That is a great save. Just deflecting the ball into the back corner. He was left alone a bit there. CJ out of position, but when they have had to do a bit of solo defending, they've done so confidently. CJ had a really nice interception earlier on, and I think he should have a save on this demo. It's going to be tough for him to get back and get second, but he does. Renegades are poised to tie up the series from a 2v2 unless we're not going to get any last-second magic from O1 Esports. They have been caught off guard several times in this game by Renegades, who have just picked up their second 2v2 win in 2 consecutive series. CJ, and Kami, the duo to get it done for the OCE team.
The break of serve is returned in this fascinating game of tennis. You know, you feel that Renegades have to win the 3v3, they lose it. You think that the 2v2 has to then be won by 0-1, they lose that. So both times these results go in the opposite of what we expected. Leaves this in a really interesting position. Going back into the 3v3, surely Renegades come into this one with a lot more confidence.
You know, looking at the confidence that Renegades had in Game 5 against their previous opponents in this group, I think they're Gladiators. I think they're going to have the better Game 5 in this matchup. You know, O1 Esports, once they get rolling, have been unstoppable. They won 3 straight against Renegades in the upper bracket. They won 3 straight against All Mid in the lower bracket. Now they've won once and lost once, so it's really turned around.
We also saw earlier on with Anchor versus Rogue, where Rogue were just not at the races at all in the first or second 3v3. But after Taroko had dragged Rogue pretty much single-handedly into a Game 5 decider, suddenly we saw the real them. They weren't this terrified trio camping at the back. They were actually taking the fight to their opponents, and they ended up winning that deciding game by 2-0. So Renegades can do something similar here. They've just won that 2v2. They've built up some momentum. Fever, their most mechanical player who was watching on, you can see his picture there grayed out from the sidelines. Now he comes back into existence. They have him back on the pitch. Hopefully they can drag him up to the standards that he's been showing all season over in OCE. But for O1 Esports, for them, they can step up so much more than that. They will have a point to prove after losing that 2v2.
Well, that's a great try by Ams with the ceiling reset at the end of an air dribble. The double went straight down. You know, O1 Esports did pretty comfortably win the 3v3 in Game 1, so I don't think they're going to be in any kind of panic at the moment, especially with Ams having the favoured 1v1 matchup against Fever later on in the series. If Renegades can win this, that does put the pressure on O1. Suddenly, Ams, being the favourite, is only to tie the series, not to win it.
Here's the Zonics, clearing that one away. Kami up so quickly again. The man is possessed today, absolutely playing with huge amounts of force behind him. Fever is there beating them. That could be a flip reset, but instead he rotates out, and it's won well by Zonics again, doing a lot of work in defense. It's been a little bit quiet so far for me this series. He gets involved with a touch and another one. Can he take control of this one? No, goes for the instant shot. It's onto the backboard. Kami's asked a question, and the clearance, not only is it clean, it's also as far as Fever, which means that Renegades can begin to push their way back out, get some boost, and slow down yet another O1 Esports attack. But wait a second, here's Ams going underneath Kami. Is he? No, not quite again. Kami, his pre-jumping has been superb.
Yeah, class on the challenge there from Renegades. Ams was faking because he didn't have any boost. That was the only option he had. Oh, that's a bit of a miss. Now Ams in a 1v1 with Fever. Might see a bit more of that later. He's 50-50'd under him. Sneaks a shot into the post. CJ's pinched it off the post. You know, I'm actually delighted we see a goal here because check out this save on the replay. How did CJ keep this one out? That is fantastic, but it pinches off the wrong in the wrong direction. Bounces back into the middle and is eventually scored.
So near yet so far for Renegades, but Mosan does give O1 Esports a lead. A much needed one as well. Well, that sparks some life into them. Zonics wants to double up quickly. Fever is there heading backwards. Lots of that right now. O1 Esports taking control and Renegades having to scuttle back to goal. CJ from the side, a huge clearance, opens up loads of space. Can he get this one goalwards? He can at the start. Mosan cleans up for now, and then a huge challenge into the opposite corner. So Renegades, after going behind, show a little bit of a sign of life, but it's still 1-0 to O1 Esports.
Yeah, O1 just continuing to win out when it's about mechanics, when it's about consistency. I think Renegades have got a ton of flair to their game. Their aggression has really helped them in 3v3 all throughout this season, but O1 are just starving them right now. They're not really giving them any angles to work with, not giving them any opportunities to work with. When you're so solid in the challenge game, and when you're pre-jumping like this, what on earth is that read from Mossad?
It might backfire though. Fever here has a chance to shoot that one. He scored these angles before on home territory. Can he do it at a LAN? I think it was on target, but it was well saved by the O1 Esports defense. Here he comes again, Fever, getting these angles, these horrific angles to defend, just forcing all sorts of struggles in defense. Touch from CJ up against the Zonics, but it's O1 Esports that are looking to be more likely to take control, whereas Renegades are looking a little bit more explosive, sort of the opposite of what I expected coming into this 3v3. Fever goes under, gets another touch, well cleared by Zonics.
Yeah, O1 Esports still teaming up great on the challenges. We see one player constantly jumping on any Renegades play. Oh, that's a great double as well by Ams. He's gotten back to this at quite a spectacular angle. Steals the boost in the back corner. Mawson sends it middle, and check that out from Ams. He's just full faith in Mawson to get that center off the backboard. pounces on it. And that's not the first time we've seen that confidence in each other from O1 Esports as they jump up to rebound quickly. Renegades really struggling in 3v3 against Middle East's representative here, the home crowd favorite.
Yeah, they're not getting itchy either. There was a good piece of communication to allow Zazonix in. I think it was, yeah, Mosan who was turned away from it. Zazonix gets in there and it ends up leading to a goal for them. Not great defending from Renegades, but good attacking play from O1 Esports straight off the kickoff. Really putting their foot on the accelerator right now. Potentially seeing this game away and setting up a 1v1 opportunity to take the series and take them up to that lower bracket final.
A real disaster here for Renegades. Mental game. Had a chance to talk to them after their loss to O1 yesterday, and they just had so much praise for the Middle Eastern team's 2v2 ability, but they didn't say anything about threes. Well, today it's been the other way around. They're just getting beaten in threes straight up. Neither, well, this game, I think the first game was closer, but it did get a bit comfortable for O1 at the end. Renegades struggling to break down the O1 defense. That's a great pass, but even that's denied by a last-ditch save. O1 holding Renegades to no goals. They're definitely scrambling right now, but they're making it work.
Oh, brilliant defending there. So good there from O1 Esports. Renegades just can't find a way through. If they had those chances 90 times, they'd score from probably 80 of them, but not when O1 Esports are standing up so tall against them, refusing to concede. Kami's dribbling around his own goal line. That's pretty dangerous. It might sneak its way in. CJ gets something on it to send it away, but it looks like O1 are going to be able to see this one away on the orange half. Every clearance absolutely massive for them. Ball control huge. 3 goals to the good. They'll already have half an eye on the 1v1. Will they be able to win this one to go to that lower bracket final? My goodness, how they would like the chance to play either Falcons or Dignitas later on in this, the group of death. It's what we all want to see. We want to see Am score again here, but we won't. Zazonix was back though, and they're just seeing it away. Yeah, this has been a complete turnaround of what we expected from this series. And you have to give credit to both teams, but it's maybe not dead just yet.
Yeah, lovely reset double by Kami here. Zazonix tried to keep control in the back corner, but he was bumped off of it. Kami slots from a tight angle. Now, Renegades need a kickoff strategy here. They've got to come up with something. Because if O1 just get the ball into midfield play, the game is over. What are Renegades going to go for? Well, they're just going for the standard kickoff. And, you know, versus a team that are known and a region that are known for anything to do with 50-50s, I've got to say that I don't really agree with that strategy myself. I mean, why would you choose to 50-50 a Middle Eastern team when you need a kickoff goal? Well, Renegades have not got one, and they do get a celebratory goal, or rather a consolation prize. Fever's got to win ones against AMS to keep them alive.
Yeah, that is going to be very tough. It really will be tricky, but yesterday in the 1v1 against AMS, Fever started off really well. I believe he went 2 goals ahead. AMS brought it back. AMS was then a couple of goals ahead. Fever brought it back again until there was a late winner. So by no means was it simple for AMS. Since then, AMS has been playing a lot more on this main stage. Fever has been stepping away from the 2v2, so maybe isn't feeling it his best. So everything is still set up for AMS and O1 Esports to take this one, but there is just a slight beam of light that Renegades can cling on to maybe get themselves to a 5th game in this series.
Well, certainly. I mean, 1 goal difference is all the hope that you need, losing by just that one 5-4 score. And it was a solid performance from Fever. AMS is a player who is very consistent, as we've seen from O1 throughout the series. They're very solid, but he's usually more of a simple style when it comes to 1v1. And I think that's easier to download for threes players. He's not the most aggressive player. He's not the most defensive player. He's very much middle of the ground in a lot of ways. But Fever's not going to need to worry too much about the aerial defense with AMS, which is a big advantage, I think. Might see physical play, but I think Fever definitely stylistically has a shot here, a lot more than against a player like OSM, who is just playing so unconventionally and surprising him at every angle.
They look calm as well, you know. Kami's there sharing a laugh. They're looking pretty chill, our Renegades.
Do you think Kami will step in? No way.
Nah, he was chuckling at Fever, going, ha ha ha, Fever, you're probably going to lose, but maybe not. That's what the chuckle was about. No way does Kami step forward in the 1v1s when Fever is there. I will eat my hat, Jonathan Boyington, if that's to be the case. We can only wait and see. You know, this is the point where we can't hear what the players are saying. All we can do is speculate as to what they're thinking, what's going through their heads. And every player has a different way of dealing with this situation, whether they're playing or on the sidelines, which in many ways is even more difficult of, do you sit there and stare, or do you do free play? And I think that the Renegades boys, they'll be watching Fever right now, rooting for him to see if he can cause this upset.
Oh yeah, Am's the favorite in the rematch, which he won yesterday. And that was a win to just tie the series, simply at that point. That this would be a win to win the series. 1v1 when it's all on the line is all the more difficult. Now Fever playing the ball back. He's got a nice look behind him. Doesn't time the boost respawn to perfection. Ams actually stole it on spawn. Fever wasn't far off getting it.
Ooh, here we go though. Here's Ams with, that's where he wants to be, on that wall with 100 odd boost. Able to do something with it. The ground play incredibly comfortable. All these 01 Esports players. What can Ams do? Can he tempt Fever to make a rushed player a mistake or just overcommit? Fever so far isn't falling for the bait. We've seen a couple of fake challenges from Ams where he's hoping Fever will dodge into it, but Fever's managing to avoid that trap so far.
Ceiling challenge by Fever. He just connects on it. That's so important, because had that not made any contact, it would have been an open goal for a while for Ams. Probably just a direct shot on target, but the 50-50 still strong. Fever on the recovery. Demos Ams, who was lining up the open net.
Fever is clinging on. First with that amazing save from the ceiling, and then the recovery demo. Another fake challenge from Ams. Is Fever going to start to read these and begin to punish them? He might commit to this one. Ams is on the backboard. Should be able to stay behind it, and the floor pinch is good as well. Now he's got 100 boost again. So good with his boost control is Ams, but Fever might have just broken
he's
through.
going for
Can
this.
he get the finish? Yes, he can. Fever had to do some defending along the way, but he does take the first goal again.
He just controlled the 50 in the back corner. Ams was trying to maybe get a bump or a demo into Fever there without committing fully to the challenge, but it turned out he did commit to the challenge. Fever's got the deflection downfield. All smiles from the Renegades teammates as they just hope and pray that Fever can get them back into the series and give them a third shot at 3v3. Fever with the wave dash, and the quick shot has got another goal. It was Ams with the boost, but Fever with the play.
Ams predicted that Fever would leave him to it after that boost, but Fever ends up mixing up his speed, just going for the ball straight away, getting that, I love it in 1v1, that early free goal that you can get from a very aggressive challenge. There's always the point where it stops working when it gets predicted. But that was the freebie right there from Fever with that good decision making.
Yeah, he just didn't want to back up and give Ams a free shot. I think Fever's getting back to this.
Ooh.
He is just and calmly just collects the ball on the goal line. He, could have easily panicked there. Many players would. It looks like Am's going to break him down anyway with the 100-0 boost advantage. But what a save from Fever. At least delaying the goal a little bit.
Well done, Ams, though. The good flick over the top of Fever, who was coming in. Knew that he was pretty much boost starved at that point, so it wouldn't be too difficult. And Ams gets himself back into this game. Can he make his tactical advantage count? The theory hasn't quite been working so far. The kickoff is won by Fever. He's got the boost. Ams will get the ball, though. So I'm going into this corner. So what does Fever do? He had an early challenge earlier on that worked so effectively. Does he slow things down now? Instead, it's just a clean 50-50, bundles it all the way in, and Fever returns his 2-goal lead.
That's fantastic from Fever. Look at that challenge. Just squashes the ball, denying Ams any control of that exchange. And Fever's really starting to get into the groove of the 50-50s now. Something that Ams and something that 01 Esports have been dominating every time you see these two teams play. And it's Fever with the fake kickoff. Ams sees it, flicks it over, and Fever tried to be cheeky, but Ams shows him what's good.
Oh no. Didn't quite work, did it, Fever lad?
It wasn't the real convincing. I mean, I think just single jumping for the fake is not as convincing as dodging. So Ams saw that. He thought, well, you just simply didn't flip there, did you? So I'm not going to flip either.
Now, the real play would be to try it again if you're Fever. That would be a statement saying, I'm not scared of you, Ams, but he does have ball control. The flick should be a little bit high, but Ams did go for the save. He committed to it fully. Not sure he realized that one was going over. But he does have boost now and a bit of ball control. Fever's going to get that boost, and Ams is going to get some too. So both players near enough 100. Play here, but again, Fever lets Ams commit and then rolls it home.
He has just been so lethal from his back corner today. It's these little recoveries in the corner walls, on the side walls, the wave dashes from Fever, those little bursts of speed that have caught Ams off guard. As once again, he is left in no man's land, watching the ball roll into his net from a distance. Fever establishes a 2-goal lead, but a lot later in the game. than the one he had yesterday. He's going to have a 3-goal lead here. Ams thought he could get the boost, but Fever runs away with it. It's 5-2.
Just the decision-making is better from Fever than from Ams right now. The crowd clearly against Fever, rooting for Ams to get back into it, but Fever is ignoring all of that, ignoring the fact that this would be a big upset, and ignoring the pressure that is currently on his shoulders. I don't want to go out to these OCE boys. Renegades, they fancy one more series at least, and one more game at least in this series. Fever again, he faked that he was going to go for the boost, and Ams realizes that that was the correct decision from the Australian.
With such a large lead, Fever just has to let the clock do the work for him here. He's been scoring a ton on open nets when Ams overextends, but when it comes to getting the ball past him, outplaying Ams, I think it's a different story. This is good to see that he's just keeping ball pressure, just letting the clock tick down. This puts so much pressure on Ams, who is a bit of a counter-puncher himself. Fever has wasted a ton of time, and he's still active here. He tried to get that boost as it spawns. Ams did get it on spawn, but he's really done well here to keep control of both back corner boosts. Ams with masterful timing. I don't know if Fever even realized that he got that first one. The pace from Fever, not just dependent on boost. He's kept up with Ams once again, and Ams can't fake Fever. Bumps him out the way. He's going to need to take this on a reversal. Look who's back. It's Fever.
Oh my goodness, so close for Ams to a chance, and eventually he just dangles that ball in front of Fever, then yoinks it away from him as soon as Fever commits.
That's a really good shot by Ams. Not much of a run-up, but he clatters it into the top corner. Perfect technique, but still 2 goals more to come back if ON Esports are to finish this in 4. Ams does come away with, oh no he doesn't. It looked like he might get kick-off possession. Fever, once again with that burst of speed, has got control.
And he's going to slow it down as well. Then take the snapshot, so wasting a few more seconds. A huge pinch for his own backboard from Ams. There's Banks in the corner. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Ams is going to take that one to the bank. Huge clearance, and then the goal to take this one within 1.
Fever has been thriving in the defensive corner. He has been the counter-attacker. He's been surprising Ams in the exact same position that we saw Ams surprise Fever there. So I think that's what Fever needs to do here, to stick to what's working, stick to what he's comfortable with. I think trying to press the advantage is leaving opportunities now for Ams to play his style, but once again, Fever's beaten him to the boost. This is the second time this game that he has completely surprised Ams with his kickoff prowess.
It just works time and time again for Fever. He is the master of the mid boosts. Ams is trying dodging, he's trying leaving it, he's trying taking his time, he's trying rushing it, and no matter what he tries, Fever just seems to have the read on Ams from this kickoff. And you know, there's still a lot of time for 2 goals, but that 2-goal advantage will feel so much better than the 1-goal advantage that Fever just had.
Is Ams going to have the confidence for the wall play? Yes, he is. No reset yet, but one might be coming. He plays for the double instead, and he secures it. Fever's expecting him to go low. Ams goes high and puts it back to a 1-goal difference.
So good right there from Ams. He saw what Fever was expecting and just did the complete opposite, and again brings it back to 1. The nerves will be unlike anything they have experienced before. $25,000 extra minimum goes to the winner of this series.
That from Fever though, the wave dash recoveries. He's done it again. He just keeps beating Ams to those mid boosts.
Oh, and another huge chance here. Ams saves it well and gets some boost as well. So Fever's going to have to go back. Here's Ams, takes a dribble. Can he get the flick over the top of Fever? Yes, he can. Is that one going in? Yes, it is.
Wow.
It's 6-all.
That is disgusting from Ams. Fever faked a challenge right up next to him, and Ams didn't blink. He says, no, I don't think you're really going for the ball there. And to make matters worse for Fever, who tried to really reverse into a challenge immediately afterwards, Ams predicted that as well. He predicted the fake challenge, he predicted the real one, and ties the game.
But kickoffs have been the domain of Fever. That one, he's going to get some boost control as well. Slow it down, there's a chance for a shot here. Does he flick it over the top? He does, but Ams commits nice and quick. But where is he now? He's there again. 20 seconds left. This could be next goal wins territory.
You're joking. Oh my
Ams is in the sky. Fever tries to keep it low. Doesn't let Ams even begin to block that one away. Maybe Fever with control of this ball to the end, unless Ams can nip it past him. Oh, Fever almost loses it. Still might. Just wants to see overtime now, I think, does Fever. Ams wants to kill it before that happens. And I think we are going to a deciding goal right now. Huge kickoff coming up, Johnny.
Ams and Fever closer than yesterday's matchup. And the kickoff does again go Fever's way with the wave dash. He's going to get it on target, and he wins! 6 seconds in to send us to game 5.
One of the best 1v1s we've had so far in Gamers8. A massive, massive moment. Nerves of steel from Fever. Understandably getting pats on the back right there. This is the player who's been sitting out of the 2v2s today, and then he performs in the 1v1 like that. Amazing.
I mean, in the previous round, OSM really put a clinic up against Fever and dominated kickoffs, but in this game it was Fever who was showing up with the kickoff strats every single time that AMS thought he could beat Fever to a mid boost and keep control of the ball. Fever would nip in front of him with that wave dash recovery. Fantastic stuff, really showing that he is not just here to, you know, throw random plays at the wall and see what sticks. No, he's coming with a plan here, and he managed to beat AMS to the punch several times. Gets the upset, gives Renegades a third chance at 3v3.
It is nothing more than that, a chance, because in both 3v3s so far, it's been won by 0-1 by 3 goals to 1. Renegades just have been a little bit slower, not been as confident or as aggressive than 0-1, and not been as mechanically good either.
Well, what about Renegades game 5? This is something we saw from them earlier. The best 3v3 performance against Gladiators was that game 5. They had to come back from behind multiple times in game 1 against Gladiators in their first 3v3 they played. They lost the second one, but then game 5 they dominated. They were just the clearly better team when the pressure was on. And just like that round 1 matchup in the lower bracket, Renegades have got so much more LAN experience than 0-1 in front of crowds like this with this much money on the line. This is something that they've experienced and that they're more familiar with. 0-1 have beaten them twice so far this series in 3s. And Renegades break that streak. Early chance for CJ, but will be deflected wide.
The crowd need to get behind 0-1 Esports right now because it does make such a huge difference. F16 against FaZe yesterday. FaZe could barely hear themselves think. Such was the volume of support for F16 going on inside that arena. So I'm sure the same will be happening right now. 0-1 Esports representing Saudi Arabia up against Renegades. CJ is going to leave that one to Zazonix. Kami's coming in, steaming, sending that ball away. Renegades just want a foothold in this 3v3. They've never taken the lead in either of these games. So what they want to do is just make their presence known.
We heard from CJ in his winner's interview earlier on. They really do take these regional rivalries seriously. When they can hold APAC to constant losses, they're proud of that fact. When they can beat South America over and over again, they're proud of that as well. Now, they've never lost to a Middle East team in 3 consecutive 3v3s. They'll be really trying to win this, not just to advance in this tournament, but to keep up that regional rivalry and to say, well, hey, you know, we didn't lose to Mina.
Lovely challenge there from Mosan. Just when it was looking like Renegades were going to be able to put the squeeze on 0-1 Esports, Mosan sent it all the way down the other side. Now CJ is sending it forwards again. There's always a player in front of the ball for Renegades. That's what I love about them. Kami now as CJ in the center, aggressive positioning from him. But Fever was heading back, gets demoed for his trouble, so AMS can send it high, but then AMS gets taken out as well. All sorts of carnage on the pitch, tires everywhere, rubble and rubber currently adorning the grass. Champions, that's not Champions Field, but of this map right now. Kami's going to get it away.
It's similar. DFH Stadium lacking that giant trophy.
Yeah.
It's got a giant car, giant octane to one side of the field, but no giant cup. So,
and no announcer. That's the real problem.
No
Where's
announcer.
Shogun when you need him?
We do need Shogun. As always, Renegades looking a lot better in this 3v3 than they did in the prior 2. They've had the majority of the pressure. Backing 0-1 Esports into a corner. This is what they did to Gladiators. They just continued to play their game, whereas Gladiators deteriorated somewhat when we got to the last match of the series, that ace match. 0-1 likewise, haven't looked anywhere near as threatening, but those 50-50s, man, they continue to be scary. Renegades have to be careful.
They have to be careful, but they're also very quick to the air. Fever beating out 1 or 2 there. AMS is beaten as well by Fever. CJ couldn't quite get in on time. Will be able to make something of a nuisance of himself on the rotation out. AMS just wants control of this ball. Fever up again so quickly. Renegades showing that fearlessness, which has seen them beat Furia twice in recent majors. Coming up against teams that are favorites against them in 3v3s with the odds stacked against them. Still winning, but Mosan, he's got control of the ball here. Kami goes underneath here, and Mosan goes solo and gets the lead for 0-1.
Mosan with a high pop, a reset, a mind game, and a finishing touch. That little touch from Kami actually did not help Fever at all. It accelerated the ball over the top of him. Massive play after the demo left Renegades scrambling in defense. 0-1 lead once again.
CJ is going to win this kickoff, though. Still a couple of minutes, the pressure this high. Mossen on the backboard gets a couple more touches. He's playing really well in this 5th game. Zazonix leaves it for AMS. Good decision-making there for O1 Esports. Still talking and communicating. CJ, though.
Okay.
Where's the defense gone?
Yeah, CJ capitalizing on a lapse of concentration there for O1 Esports. Zazonix was rotating to mid boost on one side. Mossen was rotating to a back corner boost that wasn't there. No one covering the net. A little bit of a communication breakdown. Renegades are all over it.
O1 Esports, they would have really thought they would see that one away after taking the lead, but Renegades punished their first defensive mistake to bring themselves equal. Zazonix away. Fever towards CJ. Wants to get in the way, but AMS comes out of it all by himself. Good touch there from Kami. Does he dribble? Does he pass? Fever's there in front of him. It is the pass, which Mosan was reading. Kami now around the corner. Will the ball fall to a Renegades player? Not this time. AMS. He booms it away towards CJ, who gets a little bit of a nervy prod towards his own goal. I think it's a bit too close to Kami for my liking. We'll leave a lot of space here for O1 Esports to attack into. Mosan, will the touchdown go to one of his teammates? It won't. Fever's in there. Is there a defender?
Oh!
No, there's not. It's wide this time. CJ can't get the read, and Kami is too far back.
Communication, a real problem here for O1 Esports as Mossen tried to pass downwards. No one was there. And then you turn around, no one's covering the net either. It's really a big problem. A CJ now looking for the 1v3 dribble. 1 minute to go. It's Renegades who are advancing, looking the more threatening. And it's one more chance perhaps. No, CJ beaten to the punch.
Oh, this could be a massive redirect from Zazonix. Instead, he goes for a flip reset, but it's shepherded away again from Fever. Suddenly playing with full confidence. Just what his Renegades teammates want from him. With 40 seconds left.
It's
Someone's
open.
got to step up, but it's completely open for Zazonix. O1 Esports on the cusp of taking this decider.
And can they beat Renegades 3 times in a row in 3v3? This is O1 Esports, the number 6 team for the spring split in MENA against OCE's number 3. They are trying to prove to the world that there's more to this region than Falcons.
The kickoff goes the way of Renegades. If they can get this ball, no, they can't. So it's Mosan that wins it. CJ's just a little bit lost right there, going for a wave dash. The redirect could have been so dangerous, but it's still 2-1. CJ needs to win this one. He does. Fever wants to make the most of it, but AMS comes in. Kami again, they're turning around Renegades, not quite attacking this ball with full momentum. A little bit stretched, it could be going in. CJ's save is good. Onto the hood of Kami, has a player in the center again, but they just can't find it. O1 Esports reading everything that Renegades are trying with 10 seconds left. CJ wants to go solo, wants to just win these 50-50s, but the 50-50 game from Mosan is too strong. Renegades need some 0-second magic. Is it gonna happen? Maybe still. CJ's up, redirects it, but what a read that was from Zazonix.
Wow.
To win the game for O1 Esports. MENA's number 6 team take down one of OCE's best.